Welcome back to another live stream. I am Keith. I'm flying around the studio, unplugging fans, not like people applauding me, but fans, a fan to cool things off. It is like summer out again here in the state of Washington. I'm going to welcome everybody for another live stream, and thank you for attending. Some of you have been waiting in the wings. That is so cool. Not that I'm sure you're doing something while you're waiting, but we have lots to do tonight. I started out with one unboxing, and then two other things arrived today. So, but we are going to do one specific unboxing. We're going to talk about all the different ways you can mount cameras. Let me grab it here. So I got camera 3, and it's not light. This thing's pretty heavy. So I got a big lens on it, and then I have the prompter that can go on the front, a monitor that I'm hanging on off the bottom of the prompter, and it kind of hurt one of my support. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about what I'm replacing my support with, a brand new item we'll unbox first tonight. So we'll set the camera down. I have 3 boxes here. We'll probably only maybe unbox 2 of those tonight. We'll save 1 for next Tuesday, but I will talk about what it is. In order to unbox that last item that came FedEx today, I really need to have another item I got, so we'll talk about that later. I also had a request to talk about SuperSource in the chat comments last week after last week's live stream. Where we talked about multi-view. So tonight we're going to talk a little about SuperSource. I'm going to take you guys into Adobe Illustrator and show you some basic foreground image creation. I don't know if you're using Adobe Illustrator, but it is a great tool, and I make all of my still images for live streams out of Adobe Illustrator. So we're going to reserve some time to do that. That's going to take a few minutes. It's not going to be a deep dive into SuperSource tonight, though I will try to answer some of your questions, but we're going to wait for SuperSource after we do some tripod conversations. So I did a poll tonight. We got, the question is, you can see in the chat, do you have a favorite camera mount? And I just simply did a poll, yes or no. So if you haven't responded to the poll, you should see that on top of the chat. I'm Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studio. So I want to welcome all of you that are watching live, those of you that are going to watch later. We hope that you'll hit the like button. That helps the algorithm, helps me grow the channel. Tons of energy is put into these live streams. I spend pretty much most of Tuesdays getting ready for these. I'm doing research, studying, trying to make these as effective and helpful as they possibly can. So if you would be so inclined, a thumbs up would be great. Share the videos, that's even better. And then if you want to be alerted the next time I go live or post a video, and I did post a video this week, so if you haven't seen that, we'll talk about that a little bit later in the live stream and why I posted that. So I want to thank you for joining me. Again, kind of 2 parts tonight. We're going to do some unboxing and look at some camera supports, and I'll have my Canon 5D Mark III tonight. We'll open up a box of a new support I've never used before. I apologize if you're getting commercials during my live stream. Who knows when they're going to play, but thank you for supporting the channel. The other thing I wanted to say is if you are not able to chat, I do have subscriber-only chat on tonight. So if you would be so kind to subscribe, you'll be able to chat after 1 minute. I actually set it for low latency tonight, so the chat should be coming in quicker tonight so that I can respond to those. So again, that's part 1. We're going to talk about supports, tripods, monopods, desk mounts, lots of different ways to support your camera. You might be using a web camera, you might be Sony, you might be Nikon, you might be Canon, you might be Fuji. I mean, who knows what kind of cameras you're using. And then you might be using for your live streaming or Zoom calls or just any type of using webcams, you might be using a Facecam Pro, you might be using a Logitech camera, you might be using the camera on your laptop. But a lot of these supports apply if you want to put them in different places in your studio, or if you're going to go live stream, or you're shooting videos for your channel, or you just want to learn more about supports. We are going to talk about camera supports tonight, and then we're going to talk about SuperSource, specifically foreground and background images, how you can design a foreground image to let the background cameras come through it. We'll talk a little bit about that later. I'm actually going to design one in front of you on Adobe Illustrator right here on my laptop, so that should be fun. But let's start out by talking just a little bit about this. I think I have the ability to do this, so let's say hi to everybody in the chat here. Let's turn chat on the air, and let me just go up here real quickly and say hi. It's good to have you here, Hank. Hank says looking forward to joining in about an hour and a half, so hopefully you're here. DJ Ware, looking forward to this one. See you soon. It's good to have you here, DJ Ware. Also have liked this review. That's midnight his time. Thank you for staying up. We'll touch base on some of these questions as we get into SuperSource. I'll just pop them up here real quick so everybody can see those. So we will try to do our best to cover these when we get to talking about SuperSource later in the chat. It's good to have you here, David, present and accounted for. Thank you for joining me. Some more questions from like this review, and we will be talking about these when we get to questions about SuperSource. Hank is checking in from South Carolina. Tony is here, and it's good to have you here, Tony. Jay, it's good to have you here as well. As always, and you can see some of these guys are greeting you from where they're at, so you can see where some of these guys are joining. Ernesto, it's good to have you here, and it's happy to have you here on a Tuesday, we'll talk about this right now. So I saw this question, Ernesto, so we'll give you the first question tonight. Are you guys using a quick release? Well, I'm one of the guys tonight, and I don't use any quick releases, though I think they're great. I've looked at lots of different versions of them. I just pretty much use the regular adapters, and if I'm going to switch cameras, I'll usually have an adapter on each one of them, and most of the tripods that I have are pretty quick to change up. And so when I'm shooting video, I would save time if I had some quick releases. If you guys want to respond to Ernesto, you can do that as well. Again, we do have a survey up. It is, do you have a favorite camera mount? Any type of camera mount. Do you have a favorite one? We have 29% no's and or yeses. Yes, I have a favorite camera mount. And we have 71% no's. So if you have not answered the survey tonight, it just gives me a little idea of exactly what direction to go tonight. And maybe I can help you guys see some different options tonight as we get into those. So, well, we have said hi to everyone in the chat. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I would love to have you join every Tuesday. So I try to be live every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. We're now Pacific Standard Time. There's no fast clocks forward, fast clocks back. We are at regular time, I believe, now in the state of Washington. So that should help some of you that are tuning in from other countries. And I'm sorry, it's 4 o'clock. It's just the way it works around the Bennett Ranch here where I live. So, okay. So what happened to me is I've been using Manfrotto super clamps, and I'll grab it here in a minute, to hold up my Canon 5D Mark III. I might have the 24-105 on it. I might have my 24-70. They're all pretty heavy. And then I have a 16-35. It's a little bit lighter because it's an f4. This is a 2 f4 as well. This 24-105, and then my 70 or my 24-70 lens is a 2.8. If you don't know what that is, we're talking aperture. All aperture really does is represent how much light comes in the glass. And then some lenses have variable apertures. So this is a zoom lens. So when you zoom in and out, the aperture is going to change. I'm buying all prime Canon lenses these days. And so mine don't. It's 2 or f4 there, f4 here. And then the lens I have right now is f4. And then the one over here is 2.8. And that's this camera right here. And I can now hit this pedal and change the lights automatically with my floor pedal by Elgato, which is really good. And then I can switch back by doing that. And now we have the regular lights and little switch cameras back to that angle. So this is heavy. And when you add the prompter to it, which isn't very heavy, and then you add a monitor that I had hanging off the bottom of the prompter so I could have a confidence monitor and a teleprompter at the same time, or see my desktop and see chat, it made this pretty heavy. And so what happened is my mounts I normally use, and it is right here attached to the table. So I'm going to get up and grab it real quick. So we'll go to my lapel mic, and you guys should still have audio. Let's see, we'll just leave the camera there. So we'll grab this first. So what happens is this is the Manfrotto 244, and it's mainly this piece right here. So you can take the super clamp off. I'm going to pull this off real quick. The nice thing about these super clamps is that you can detach this, and these super clamps can either go on like a regular desk mount like that. I'm going to drop that. Or you can pull this little piece out. And now you can do a bar clamp. So it's either way, and it opens and closes. And then you actually have all kinds of mounts on the top you can see, and which it's really nice. So you can add attachments in here. You don't just have to use this attachment. You can use any attachment with these. So you can buy these super clamps. And I use this to hang my Elgato lights. I'm using one of these to hang one of my sky camera right here. And so I love these. So let's put this back together. Screw it tight. But what happens, and what I've noticed, and I've had this for a couple years, is that there is no teeth in this gap. So when I tighten this handle, everything gets tight. So this top piece gets tight, which is the camera bracket on the other end. This bottom gets tight, and there's a notch right there, so you can go completely sideways with the clamp. And so everything tightens up when you tighten this up. And what I've noticed is that I've stripped out some of the nuts in here. I'm going to pull this off, take it apart live. And I'll duck down here so you guys can see it. My camera will focus. Focusing? Not really. Huh. So anyway, that has screw nuts in it, and I've had to replace this bolt a couple times because it's stripped out. So this is a brand new bolt. This didn't look stripped out this time, so I have rebuilt it, and I ordered the bolts. Normally they have these handles at B&H Photo and the bolt kit, and there's washers in here, and once you tighten it up, it tightens all of these ends together. So you can do all kinds of different shapes and angles with this. So I can turn the camera bracket sideways, and then this camera bracket screws right into the top, into the bottom of your camera. So the Canon, I'll hook this on my desk real quick right here in front of the camera. and you take the Canon, change the microphones for a second. Lotion on my hands so they're not helping me here. Making sure this is nice and tight. The camera goes on here like this. There you go, you have a bracket. So I can change the angles of this, slide it this way, and because of the weight, it has a tendency to wear out the bolts. And so I decided that I wanted to try to find a replacement for this bracket. So we'll unscrew this again. Always important to grab your camera. Let this fall, don't let this fall. So I was looking for a replacement that actually had teeth in here so that this joint right here isn't the one that's constantly having to crank this down. If you have teeth, it's a little harder to adjust them because you have to let the teeth separate, but it's nice to have them lock into place so it's not slowly coming down. Of course, it can sometimes droop right here at that joint. Rarely does it droop on this joint right here, but this joint down here that's supporting all the weight of everything sometimes will droop as well. And again, you got to tighten this up, and it's tightening all these joints. So I'm looking for a replacement, so I ordered one. So let's look at what that looks like. So we're going to open this. This is actually a DF-9711A Pro. It's a high load. The brand is DF Digital Photo. So DIGITALFOTO. And again, it's model number DF-9711A. And so I have not got it out of the box. It doesn't look like it has any plastic on it. So we're going to open this right now. And we're going to see if it's a good replacement. So there's two boxes inside this box. So we're going to pull that box out, set it on the desk, and then we will pull this small box out. And there is a little card in here. So let's see what's in this box. Gotta love unboxings, right? So we'll open this up. And it's the super clamp. And it has one of these in it. Can't remember what these are called, spuds or something like that. But it's got large thread on one side, smaller thread on the other side. That's the kind of thread that needs to go inside the camera. This is kind of more like what you would see if you were putting a microphone adapter on. So we'll set that here. And we're going to open this. Then there's another little package here with the adapter that goes for it. And so I'm not sure this is going to be quality or not. I have no ability to know for sure, but the super clamp looks very familiar to me. So here's the adapter that comes out. There's also a different type adapter that pops in. So this has two types of adapters. It does have the same basic slots on the front and the slot for the main bar. So we'll set this down. And actually, this will slip in here as well. So if you just wanted to mount a microphone or a web camera on your desk, you push this little button, loosen this, and there's spring loaded. And actually it doesn't fit in there. So you just have to screw it in, this adapter on the top. But again, you'd have the wrong side there. So I'm going to try this one more time. Make sure I have it loosened enough to get it to go in there. Okay, there it goes. So I don't want to misrepresent their product. So there you go. So I can just put my webcam on top. So something like my face cam could go right on top of that. Just to let you know that these super clamps with an adapter are an option for you for things like webcams. So this would just screw on here. We're going to unplug it, screw it on there real quick. So now I got the webcam on there. We'll plug it back real quick. Plug it back in. Let's put the adapter back in right now. Goes right in here. We're going to put it on this desk real quick. Ugh. I'm going to open up my Facecam software here. So you guys can see this real quick. So there you go. It's on that mount. So if I take it off the shelf, there you go. So it is in my hand and it is shooting the room. So that's one way to use it. Take this back off. And that's the Facecam, not the Facecam Pro. So it doesn't have any focusing built in. It just has to be between a yard to 3 yards away, or a foot to 3 feet, I think. So I just got that out tonight so that you guys could see that picture. So now what I want to do is open up the other box. So, well, actually, we'll take this out, just make this a proper unboxing. So here is the other adapter. So we're going to open this up. We'll take this adapter out. It's kind of a flat adapter for going on shelves. And we will put this one in. And it doesn't fit in there. So does it fit in these top holes? Well, I guess I'll have to figure out what that does. So let's set this down. Again, I've never had one before. And we're going to open up the second box. Let's see. Opens up from the top here. Pull this out. And that's it. And pull this puppy out. And there you go. So this one has grooves right here. So when I open this, it makes that little groove sound. And then I can tighten it back. Now the top two and the bottom still tighten up with this handle. So when I do that, they're tight. So we're going to put this together. Take the spigot out. I think that's what it's called. Take that out. We'll pop this in. Just slides in. You push the spring right here. And then once it's spring loaded in, you can tighten up this adapter to hold it in place so it doesn't pop out. Then I'm going to put this adapter back in. We'll set it on my counter. Crank it down. Nice and tight. And now we're going to adjust it. This is a way longer camera bracket. So let's adjust it right about there. I like the longer handle, and you can get the regular Manfrotto. They make a version that has a longer handle here instead of the knob. I've never used one of those. Trying to mount this to the desk to get it out of our way. Everything's nice and tight. Take the camera again, screw it in. It's got a nice rubber pad on top of there. And there you go. My camera's not focusing on that. Let's just turn it sideways. Maybe it'll be more focused. But yeah, so the idea of these is to be able to shift them and make adjustments really fast. When I have guests in the studio and I want 3 cameras, I can locate 3 cameras here in the studio. One could be a wide shot, one could be a close-up on one guest for the podcast, the other one could be a close-up on the other guest. This camera is going to go back into this location right here. I don't have it live tonight because that bracket gave out on me, but we will loosen this up. So that is a look at this new little toy here. I'm looking for a box. Let me take my camera off of here. Set it back down under here. And we'll take this one and mount it to the desk. Make it even harder for me to get through that little slot. So that is the new adapter. And I'll be putting a link in the description tonight. Get the box out here one more time. There is the model number. And again, it's by Digital Photo Solutions Limited. And so again, this is not sponsored. They didn't pay for this. I bought this with my own money. I liked the price. And it was one of the least expensive ones. And it did what I wanted to do. And so far, I like it. I wish the camera bracket on the top was a little smaller. But I can change out the camera bracket I have. I'm going to be using the other one for cameras, maybe lights. I haven't decided yet. But again, this is just one way to mount your camera. And we're going to look at a lot of the other ways here after we take little questions or see if there's any other comments. So I'll set this down here. And still don't know what this bracket does. I'll have to look it up. If you have any ideas, let me know. But so far, I can't figure out where that goes on that device. But we'll figure that out here. I got parts and pieces here all over. You put this back together here. Face cam cap back on. Good little camera for the cost, and the Facecam Pro is a little bit nicer option because it has a lot more features and it's higher resolution, and you can do presets. Taking the full 4K frame and then zooming into different places on it, and it's still 1080p or close there. So, okay. So back here in the chat, any comments from the gallery tonight about that new device. It's good to see you, Eric, in the chat tonight. Thank you for the thumbs up and for the hand clap. So any comments on that? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know. Have you ever used one of those Manfrotto super clamps? This is the Manfrotto version. They're very similar. This has the same hooks on the front, has the same spring load, same tightening knob. I mean, they look almost identical. This one has the piece that comes out, fits a little tighter. So for going on a bar, you can also take these and hook them on a auto pole going from floor to ceiling, and you can hook this on the auto pole, and then they make a paper attachment that hangs down like this, and then it has screw holes, and you can buy the Manfrotto paper rod, and then now you could have two auto poles, and you could just set up in any place and have backgrounds. So that's really cool. They even make an attachment that comes out from here that you can attach an adapter that will do 3 things of paper in the same adapter, but I don't own those. I do have the little hook, but it's in a box somewhere and I didn't bring it tonight. So these super clamps are pretty great. Poles, tabletops, and again, with the adapters, this is called the flex arm. And with this flex arm with the camera bracket on it, then you have lots of options. But I do like the fact that the new one has grooves, so you're not going to have as many issues with these handles and making these bolts eventually lose their threads. So we'll set that down. So any other comments about that, feedback before I go on? I'm not going to cover all the tripods I bought in the studio tonight, but I do want you to see these. So I'm going to walk through this right now. Let me see if I have the right angle. There we go. So let's transition and let's take chat off the air. And let's see, can I do this? That'll work. You can just look at the webcam information. So here you have all the tripods that I have on the table. We'll just go through these really quick. We have these little ones that you can use that are desktops that will, and I'll bring these up here in a minute. Let's move this box here. So I have my Gitso right here in the front. Oops. And it will actually let you go that small. And so for traveling, it's great. I use this primarily for most of my traveling photography. If I need a liquid head to do nice panning, I'll take a regular tripod, but that's the Gitso. It's carbon fiber, super lightweight. They're not cheap. It's about a $1,200 tripod. I had to buy a new bag for it, and there's different feet you can get on it. I'll go ahead and grab it real quick. So it has a Velcro strap on it, and then it unfolds this way, and you have 1, 2, 3 feet. 1, it's gonna get long. 2 and 3, and I can't even go that far. It's huge. And then it comes with an adapter to go super short, so I can take this rod out and put a really short one on if I want to shoot all the way down the ground. These feet can come all the way out like that, and with the short adapter, I can be 6 inches off of the ground at the base of the tripod, and then the camera height. These are not like for video production, though you can if there's stationary cameras, because they have a typical head on it. There's the release plate. Just loosen up that knob and the plate comes off, pops right back in again. And then this is the part that screws into your camera. And you just have a tightening deal on the bottom there. And this has the little marks on the bottom for pans. So you can just go notch by notch and do a complete pan. Now we're just using our phones to do panos, and then you can lower this up and down. And these are nice rubber grips. I've had this for a long time and they're not even starting to wear out, which is great. And you can order all these parts from Gitzo as well. So it's that way. If you don't fold it, it's that long. If you don't fold it, and so you can see it's that wide, but if you reverse it, like it's meant to travel, these legs come all the way up. Just adjust this so it all fits together. Tighten that down. Now you're only this long. So very short. You can throw this in a suitcase and travel. It doesn't add a ton of weight. It's not super light, but it is carbon fiber, and everything else is as steel. And then there's rubber grips, but it is very well built, and you can buy different type of feet for the bottom. So if you want spikes for rough ground, you can do that. These are great for carpet, great for grass, but they have spikes as well to help you keep it from tipping over or falling over. So that's the Gitzo. And this little one I bought from Orange Monkey. It's a great little short little tripod, and its feet expand. Just showed this to my son, Bryson, who was here, because he needs a little tripod. And then this goes up and down. And this comes like you see it with the phone bracket on it. But if you take the phone bracket off, then you can add a camera to the top. So this is more for like a tabletop stand. This one is just a really inexpensive one. They make nicer one of these, but you can wrap the feet around things. So you can literally wrap this around a fence post or something like that and get a quick shot. Use this to stabilize it. You could get a quick shot with your camera and hang this on anything. So those are kind of nice. I wouldn't hang it from a motorcycle. I'd buy some stuff from GoPro if you're going to do that. This one came in a box from Joe. This is the little mini Manfrotto. And this is just designed to screw in the bottom of the camera. And then it has a little pull in and pull out deal right here. And then that lets you move this little head. And then when you let go, it's tight again. So this could be used on the desktop for a mobile camera, a webcam, even a large camera like mine. It's plenty of support and it's quite sturdy. And then there's this teeny tiny little focus one that just folds up like this. This is only going to be usable for like a webcam. I sure wouldn't recommend it for anything else. But again, this is just a little teeny thing you could throw in your briefcase or throw in your backpack. You could use it for a webcam on the top of your desk, but it doesn't adjust up and down. It just, the feet fold out and that's it. This is a light stand, and I have a bracket on top of it. This is a Joby bracket for your phone, and I love these. I've had 3 or 4 of these, and I've had clients buy them, but it adjusts for your phone. You can go landscape or portrait, and it has good movement forward and back. And this could be screwed into a tripod or just a really inexpensive light stand, and you can pick up light stands on Amazon from anywhere from $8 and heavier duty for 19 bucks, or you could spend $100 if you want to buy something really heavy, name brand. But I have a number of these. I always keep one of these in the back of my SUV. And so if I travel with my phone and I have this, then I have stability if I want to do any kind of shooting. This is just a great tool, and I've done lots and lots of video on my phone. In fact, I shot all the B-roll for my wife's podcast that's going to release here pretty soon. They went shopping at Target to buy a bunch of different items that women might buy when they're pregnant, and they came into the studio and talked about the ones that are really good and the ones that are okay, but they're not going to be super helpful. And then they talked about some other products that they can buy through catalogs. And I did all the B-roll when I was at Target with my iPhone. And if I need stable shots, I just use this. So. Okay, there's one more small one on the desk. I want to give you guys a view of it from the mobile cam here. So let me adjust it real quick. And this is by Elgato. And there's actually two pieces here. So you can see that's the flex arm right there on the right, and that attaches to this Elgato light bracket, and it clamps onto the table. You should be able to see that right there on the table, and I can go full screen on that. That is camera 5. Nope, not camera 5. What camera is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try that again. Okay. That's my laptop. PC. There we go. So I'll just go up that bracket again. I'm not going to take it off the desk, but it can expand up and down, and you can mount cameras to the end of that. I've used it for my iPad bracket. It's also a bracket that you can get from the same guys that make this bracket right here. So fits your laptop. And again, this is Joby. They make a bracket as well that goes on an iPad. And again, you can use that on the end of that flex bracket. And I really like that device. And I have a number of these, a couple flex arms. I can take the pieces apart and put them together so I can go around angles, because the stand that comes with the lights is just the bottom part. It's straight and then has a knuckle at the top. But the flex arm really helps you do angles and things like that, especially if you're trying to position a hair light. And then it'll mount only to tables, and it can barely fit on this table, but I have it on there. Okay, so back to me and logo. So now I want to talk about the higher end tripods that you can get. So I have a number of different tripods ranging from $500, the heads are $300, up to tripods that are almost $1,500, $1,600 brand new. Just going to go through those real quickly. This is a carbon fiber Manfrotto. And I have a Siri head on it. This is for serious landscape photography. And again, this is a beefy ball head, and it is got levels on it, and it is got fluid levels. It's great. And if you're going to do photography or landscape photography or home photography, you're going to buy a ball head like this, and then a typical flat topped tripod. So you get the tripod level. And again, carbon fiber just cuts the weight down. This is a model number Manfrotto MT294C3. And it's got these brackets for extending the legs. And there's 2 levels of leg extension. And I just had these extended to set the back of my table, but you also have the smaller section. So it'll get pretty tall. It's got the center section as well that you can raise and lower. And again, I have a oben centerpiece right here. And what that lets me do is mount all of this stuff together and gives me the level. And it just gives me one more level of protection for this ball head. And right now it's all mounted together. So this is my high-end landscape tripod that I use when I'm going to go out and do landscape photographs, or maybe even take photographs of waterfalls and things like that. This stays in the back of my SUV underneath the back area. Let me grab one more here. This is the Benro monopod, and it actually has feet on it. So if you want to just be on the gun shooting video, then you can use this. And you even have a fluid head at the top that you can use for panning up and down, and you can set the tension of the fluid right here to get nice up and down pans. And then you also have side to side pans. And again, it's got resistance, so you get nice smooth pans up and down. So if you want to go on the fly for a wedding, you have a monopod like this. You can also get it up high to shoot down the center aisle. And a little motion is kind of way we do modern video production. So the motion is okay. So again, this is a video monopod, and you could actually buy an attachment and take the feet off and then just use it as a monopod, but I always use it this way, and the feet fold up by pushing a button. And so I can throw it in the bag and take off on the fly like that. And there you go. Even the handle folds down. And so very compact, and that can go in my trunk as well, and it goes in a bag, and I have the bag down the hallway. Two more I want to show you. This is also an aluminum Manfrotto. This is 755XB, and it can go up and down right here on the yoke. And then I have a Manfrotto video head on the front, and you can tighten and loosen the side-by-side pan, and you have an adjustment for forward and back. On the side right here. So this will give you tension up and down. And then you also have a level right here for tension. So again, this is designed to get nice, smooth, fluid shots, and you need a strong support. And that's what this tripod is all about. And depending on how heavy the camera is how you're gonna set all these fluid adjustments. And this is the Manfrotto head. This, is it Manfrotto? I believe it is. Yeah, MVH 502AH is the model. MV as in Victor H 502AH. And that is the Manfrotto. And then The last tripod here, try not breaking my subwoofer. This is my Sachtler, and these are great. You got extra 3 legs for stability, and you have a FSB6 fluid head. These are even higher end fluid heads, and nice adjustments, and there's click adjustments back here for how much tension you want, and also up here around the yoke. And then you also have tension here with the up and down. So tension for forward and back panning, side to side, and also even more fluid adjustments here. It has a light up level bulb in it. And it is right here. I think you can see it. And it is now lit up. And now it's off. I think it's going to go off. Yeah. So you push on, push off. And I'm going to set this up on the table, give you guys a closer look at this head. And we'll wrap this segment up. So back like this. Let's see. Camera 6. And I look down those support legs. And again, it's got just one leg that slides up and down. You can see it even has special feet on the bottom and the support on the bottom. And you can actually hang a sandbag from the bottom support or the top support. The big difference on this head, I'll show you, is if you do this knob, let me go wider. You adjust this knob right here, then I can adjust the whole tripod angle. So it floats inside here. And that is another option for mounting your camera. So I hope you guys enjoyed a little behind the scenes look at different mounts from clamps and brackets like that. And there's a lot more. I only brought a few. I have more in the studio. I have my shotgun mic on a mount on a pole, and I have another Manfrotto up here. I have Manfrotto clamp holding that light up back there on the auto pole. There's 2 of those. And so I can actually give you guys a bird's eye view of those. So those are my Manfrotto super clamps up there. holding that light up. It's one on that side with a spigot, whatever it's called. And there's another one right there. And so they're all around the studio. And I think I can actually show you this mount right here. Maybe not. You see if I can actually get it in focus. And then there's a super clamp right there holding up one of my sky cams right there. And then that light that you see right over this camera, that's on a flex bracket from Elgato. So I have brackets all over the studio in order to give you guys these different camera angles in the studio for the intro and outro, and so I can show different things when I have a consult going on in the studio. So any comments before we move on to SuperSource? Oops, chat off the air. Let me display chat again. Chat on. Let's just see what we got going here. My favorite Manfrotto, Ernesto says, became loose 2. I can hold my ZV1, but not the A7. Okay. So obviously there's different sizes for different supports. I use a switch pod for my desk for Zoom and ACAM. So thank you for sharing that. Switch pod. So you guys can look at that. Very similar to the little pod that I have, if I remember right. Good to have you, Chio Walker, dropping in. Thank you for the likes. Good to have you on, Joe. Eric says hi to Joe. Back to Eric. Did you put a pillow in your shirt and make you demonstrate the pregnant apparel? No, I did not put a pillow in my shirt at all. I'm glad you guys had a nice little laugh there. Okay, let's move on. Unless you have anything else you guys want to add, let's move on to SuperSource. Let's just do a quick overview right here. I need to clean up, get myself some room, get some water. Oh, I should do a segue here. I bought this I bought 2 of these for my son, Nathan, who was doing gaming in the room next to me. He's since then moved out, and he's never knocked it right on my camera. I mean, on my microphone. So I do have this. He brought it over today. I purchased it back for him. So now he has cash instead of the gift. He's never opened it. So we are going to unbox this, not tonight, but it does have a bracket in it. And this is an interesting bracket. You can see it right here. It actually has a desktop weighted bracket. So it's designed to sit on your desk and then go up. I'm not sure I'll be using this, but we'll unbox this next week and we'll talk about it. But I brought it tonight and we're running out of time, so I'm not going to unbox it. And then also I received this in the mail today. And this is a beast. What this is a portable battery. I did that shoot for my friends at Go Power. And one of the things they wanted me to do is do a video on these. And so they sent this over to me. Again, I'm going to do an honest review on it. It's going to be one of my first videos that someone sent me something like this to review. I know those guys personally because I shot with them. And so this just came in the mail, and it is a DuraCube. So you can check that out, but we'll be unboxing that. I also have the portable solar panel kit. So we're going to be doing a live on those devices sometime in April. And then I will be doing a video unboxing of this here on the channel. And it's a battery, so it came with all kinds of warnings when it arrived today. There's paperwork on it from FedEx. I'll be using that for photo shoots, for video shoots. That's part of the reason why battery got overheated. It's by Paul C. Buff, and this is a heavy-duty 500 milliamp hour battery, and we'll be looking at that a little closely, and hopefully that you guys will be excited. The reason you need those is just portable shooting. So when I set up somewhere and want to live stream in a portable situation using my ATEM Mini Pro tethered to my phone, I will be able to do remote live streams going through my phone, and I want to do one of those this spring, and we'll see how that works. I'm probably going to set up a remote location that I can get to within a couple minutes, and using it probably out the back door into the fields down there, and you guys will be able to see that, and hopefully it will work. So we will do that in a live stream to come. Okay, now the chat is blowing up. Someone got excited about something I showed, so let's look here. Joe says, you have a lot of tripods and light stands. Yes, I do. We use newer brand light stands and Manfrotto tripods. Good to know. Laugh out loud. Good thing that microphone is durable. Absolutely. I'm glad it is durable. That thing is heavy. So excited for the review on the DuroCube. I have a couple different portable batteries that I like. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. I like the guys at GoPro. They are supplying the solar panels and all of those devices for Forest River. And so I was doing a shoot for Forest River at their Dallas, Oregon plant, and Go Power came in from Canada, their Canadian company, and they flew in and joined us. And then we did a shoot. In fact, they're sending me a drive. They lost all the footage I gave them. It corrupted. I keep a backup. And so they're sending me a drive. Forest River lost the same footage. What are the odds? They're sending me a drive. So in the mail today or tomorrow, I'll get a couple hard drives to restore their footage and mail it back to them. But anyway, and I get to keep both of those items just because of the shoot. They weren't charged anything from the shoot. It was all funded by Forest River. And because they're into batteries and solar panels and all of that stuff, and they knew I had a YouTube channel. They wanted to support the channel and get a review out of it. So I will be doing that and putting all those disclosures on that video, as you guys well know. Paul C. Buff has passed away now, but if you Google alien, or let's see, what are my lights? They make alien bees, like buzz bees, and they make Einstein lights. And the Einstein lights I have were flashes. He was into flash photography, and he designed some really good flashes. I have 3 of the older Einsteins. Since he passed away, they've designed newer Einstein lights. So check out Paul C. Buff. That's the brand name, also the person's name, and his kids are now running the company, and they make some pretty cool photography gear mainly, but you can check that out. I've had those the Einstein lights on the live stream before. So if you go back a ways to look at the lights on my live stream, I'll actually put a link of that video in the description. Then you can see those Einstein lights, Joe. That'll help you out. Craig, good to have you. Thank you. We're going to get into SuperSource now because I know some of you are waiting for that. And we'll go back up into some of these questions. Like this review, SuperSource is source, so it can be the fill source for DV1 and DV2. So SuperSource, can I bring it on the screen here? Yes, I can. Let me make a little adjustment here. And let's put my SuperSource back up here I was using earlier. So that's SuperSource right there. And you can see 3 windows open. So when you're playing around with SuperSource, I can show you here. So let's drag this over. Camera Hub is taking over my desktop. Go away. So SuperSource is right here, and this is where it's located for almost all the devices that have SuperSource. It's not available in the ATEM Mini, the Mini Pro ISO. It's available in the Extreme and the Extreme ISO. It's also available in some different desks we're going to look at here in a minute. And what SuperSource really is designed to do, it's not designed to put a logo down there unless you use a foreground image, and we're going to talk about that. So if I turn that logo off, then there's no logo. So what you get is up to 4 boxes. We'll turn box 4 on the air, and let's just make that my, so that was box 4, huh? So let's go back to EOS R. Let's see, what box is not enabled? 4. So I got 4 on the screen now, and I'm gonna need to size it so you guys can see it. Let's put something in it. What am I gonna put? I'll put color bars in it. And we'll bring it up here, size it down. So I can have up to 4 boxes, any size I want within reason. That's 35%, and 100% would fill the whole screen that you're seeing. And then if you look right up here, I'll just go full screen here real quick. That is my laptop. You have 4 preset layouts, and so you could use those and then adjust those. And then down below it, you have the ability to choose one of the 4 boxes. And so once you have it open, you can enable it or disable it by this checkbox. So box 4 is enabled, box 3 is enabled, box 2 is enabled, box 1 is enabled. And then the next box below that is the source. I can use any one of these sources. SuperSource could be a source. So, but you have all these sources available for each box. So if those inputs are live, then you can use them. And then below that, you have position, and we'll play with those here in a minute. The X-axis, the Y-axis, and then size. You can crop each box. And then up here, you have the foreground or background image. I have it assigned to Media Player 2. And if I go down here into my Media Player, this is the box that I have assigned. So if I wanted to put SuperSource as a background, I could do that. And now if I switch back to SuperSource, you can see I have that in the background. So I'll change that back to my regular background. So I can put any kind of background in the back, but I can also change the background to the foreground. So now it covers everything. So unless I make it have some transparency in it, then it's going to cover my face. But if I design one of those foreground images with my name at the bottom, with a hole right here, and a hole right there, and a hole right there, and a hole right there, then I can put a foreground image on top and have whatever graphics I want on it. And I could design macros to switch those up. So if I had a 2-box and 2 guests, I could do that. If I wanted a 4-box, if I wanted a 3-box, if I wanted a 2-box, for whatever reason I want a 1-box, I could switch backgrounds for that. And that's what we're going to look at. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick overview. So you can see right now that box, go back to presets, got the art in the background. That's where you change the art right here. And you got the presets. So box 1 is live, and it is my EOS R. That's the one you're seeing me in. Box 2 is live, and that's my laptop, and that's what's up there on the top. And then box 3 has my PC desktop, and it's not showing anything right now, so we'll turn my Sky camera back on. Actually, let's use this one. So now you have my Sky camera coming in that one. So we have something in all the boxes, and box 4 is my color bars. I could change that to color 1. I could change that to color 2. And to really have fun, I could change it to SuperSource. So now I'm in that box up there. So if I move me down, now you can see that's SuperSource up on top, and you have that infinite window because I'm in both of them, so it just goes on and on forever. So we'll take SuperSource back out of that box, and we'll just put in, let's see, let's do my hyperdeck. So there's my intro video of my hyperdeck. So 4 boxes, I have a background behind it and not a foreground. So now what I want to do is I want to take you guys real quickly into some software. So let's pull up Adobe Illustrator and we'll fire that up. And I went ahead and did some quick layout so we wouldn't be here all night. So we'll open up my recent file right here. It decides to open up. And so what I've done, if I have a 1920 by 1080 frame and it's transparent, and the way you do that in Adobe Illustrator is you go up here to New, and then you have these presets. So I'm going to go over here to Film and Video. I'm going to click on 1920 by 1080. I would name it right here. Make sure that I want to have it landscape, not portrait, right here. And then I'm going to hit Create. I already made one, so we're already there. So, and then I made a portrait box. And the way I can do this, the way I suggest you do it, just go in here and go into Place. Find a portrait picture somewhere on your desktop. So a real portrait. Let's see. I have one right here of me in my original recording studio. You guys would like to see that. So I'll blow that up so you can see me sitting there comfortably in my control room. I've sold this house. I do want it back though. So I used that, and then I just, once I had that size, I just grabbed the box tool right here and I made a box around it. So it would be portrait, and then I saved it. And so that's how I did that. I did the same thing with a landscape box. This is my normal background. And if you already have it loaded inside your ATEM software, you can bring it in by just going in here and hitting Place. You go into your document folder. This is if you have a PC. Under Documents, it's easier to do this way. You go into Auto Save, ATEM Auto Save. You click on any one of these files. It keeps deleting one and adding one, deleting one and adding one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could save these before they're deleted if I wanted to. I just double click in the most recent one, double click in the ATEM media pool, and then I can pull out my graphic right here, hit Place, and then I can place it here on the screen. So that's what I did to build this stencil. But so what I want to do now is show you guys how to make a transparent background using these tools. So we'll bring the background in and place it here where it needs to go. We'll bring the portrait in. We'll place it right about there. We'll bring the landscape in. We'll place it right about there. Now, if you draw a box, there's one way to do this, but this is a background. It'd be the same as a photograph. So if you have a photograph in the background, you're going to use the transparency tool, and the transparency tool is right here. You can open that up under Window. You come down here under Transparency. The other toolbox that you want open, if you're going to do a box or you want to make a transparent font. So if I just took a regular color box, white, and I wanted to type in it, transparent. That work? Nope. Try that again. I think I spelled that right. No, I don't want that. I think there's only one P in transparent. I make it bold. So if I want to make a font transparent, I'm going to highlight it with my selection tool, top left tool up here. And then I'm going to go into type. And then I want to change to create outlines. So I create outlines. Then I'm going to copy this, Control C, Control V. I'm going to keep a copy of this. You'll see why here in a minute. And then what I want to do is I want to click on both boxes. You can just draw a box over them, or if it's on a background, you want to make sure you select it. You select the background, and then you hold down Shift, and you select the foreground. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the Pathfinder tool. And again, that's found under Windows, down here under Pathfinder. And you can have these open all the time as default. I don't. It just clutters up my screen. I use the tools when I need them. I don't have them on when I don't. And so I have them both open tonight just for you guys. So on that now, I select both of them again. Right-click on the font, hold down Shift, and click again. Now they're both selected. And I'm going to take this tool right here. It's called the minus front. So I hit minus. Now this is going to be transparent. So I'll show you guys this. We're just going to put some yellow here. And now I will slide this over top. Let's make it, arrange it to the front. See, it's now transparent. You can see the yellow showing through. Let's go arrange front. Actually, arrange front. And it's easier to see if I have like a picture in the background. Arrange front. So there you go. You got Batman showing through. Then I can take this transparent copy. Arrange to the front. I could bring this down to the front, lay it right over that spot, go up here to opacity and lower the opacity down to give it a little bit of transparency. Then click on the box, go up to Effect, down to Style, click on Drop Shadow, hit Drop Shadow, and then I can bring all this together, group it together, click on that, click on the font, hold Shift, click the background, go down here to group. I just right-clicked on it, and I can group it. And now I have a transparent logo. I can change the transparency by ungrouping it. Make this front even more opaque. And then just leave it with the normal transparency like that. And the bigger the font, the more transparency is going to show through. So that could be a title. So we'll delete this background. We'll delete this. So now what I want to do is make these two boxes see-through. So I'm going to click on the box, hold down Shift, click on the background. And if you're wondering why I want this other camera angle, when I'm working on my laptop, I'll have a camera directly on me. I don't have to look over here. And that's why I'm adding this third camera. I call it the Tony Cam. Tony from Quick Tech Solutions here from the channel loves that view. And that's what I'm going to be using that new bracket for. And it will be back up next Tuesday. So again, right click on the background or left click on the background, hold down Shift, click on that. Now we're going to go up here because it's a photograph. I need to use transparency. So I'm going to click on the transparency right here. Again, you find that under Window. You go down to Transparency, and that'll open up the window. And so once you have these two items clicked again, click on the portrait. Actually, let's click on both of them. I'll show you can do them together, and then click on the background. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Mask. And see how everything disappeared? Because I want to change it instead of clip to invert. Oh, and it only got one. Let's do it again. And now I'm going to click on the portrait, click on the background, and try this again. Something went awry. Let's go back. Edit, undo, edit, undo, edit, undo, edit, undo. Let's try this one more time. Click on that, click on that, click on that. Mask, invert. Yeah, for some reason, it's not doing the second one. So let me cut this out of there. Let's go back, let's go back, go back, go back. Go. Now let's try this one more time. Let me cut that. So let's just try that one first. Mask, invert, mask, invert. Okay, so when you have another graphic on the screen, for some reason it won't work. So you want to make sure there's no other graphics on the screen and you only have these two boxes. So now I can export this. So let's just get up real close and make sure I have the edges right. So let's move this right where it needs to be. Go down to the bottom. I'm holding down the space bar. It gives me this little hand icon. And we're looking pretty close. I'm just going to keep this rough. So I will paste the graphic back in right now. I just had it cut, so I'm going to right click and paste. And it pops back in. And see how it made it transparent as well? So you're going to make your transparencies first, and then you're going to make these graphics. But you would just basically now add my name. So I would just do a box. Fill it with yellow. Everything's going to be transparent now. So let's just save this. File, export as. We're going to make this a PNG file. You can see I already have one there. We're going to make this be number 2. Export. And click OK. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to make a new background. We'll call it foreground 2. And we'll paste that in. Add my title now. Make it yellow. Colors are right here. I can make a border. We'll do this till. Go up in points of the till, or teal, sorry. Then let me type my name in here. We're going to make it a little bit larger by holding down the corner and dragging it over. We'll fix that here real quick. I only need one E. Make this bold and a different font. We're going to click export as. Add name to that file, export, hit OK. Now you can go into Photoshop and trim them, but I'm just going to take them right in now. So I'm going to go into my ATEM control software, go down here to media player. I'm going to open up my file manager. We'll go into tonight's live stream, travel, live show, February 19th. We're going to bring this one in. And let's see where we're going to put it. Let's delete this. Now we got that slot right there. Cool. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it in here now. And now it's in the background with my name right there. But I want to go up to SuperSource. And I want to make my background image a foreground image. And there you go. I now have the image on top. I can get rid of my logo, and I've put my portrait in right here and that right there, and I can prove it to you. Let's go like this. Let's go back to this view, and we'll go into box 4 again, and we'll make it SuperSource. Oops, SuperSource presets, box 4. We're going to enable it, and we're going to make it SuperSource. And I'm going to move me down. So there it is, SuperSource. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the boxes around. I'm going to go into SuperSource, and I'm going to move box 1, size it differently. Oh, let's go back into that 2-up angle. I think I'm just going to keep it that way, me and the laptop. And then what I'm going to do now is I am going to change the size of my box. So there it is. Let's bring SuperSource background back in the front. So I'm going to go from background to foreground. Let's pull in the new background. So there it is in the foreground. So there is my box, and you can see it's being cropped. So I can move it left to right in the background. You can see it'll slide over that image. Position it where I want it. Go into box 2. Make it bigger and smaller. Let's size that better. There we go. I can even crop out the borders. And so now I have my name below. I don't have to use any keys. All my keys are off. And now I've designed a foreground image, and I could change it to a background image as well and go to the back. And so it doesn't look the same because I'm using that image, right? So you can see how close I am to where the box is. So if I adjust my box 1, my picture, which is one way to crop these, you can see I made it the wrong size, but because my picture can go up and down like this, I can just bring it back into the foreground now, and it's cropping everything out. So it's a tiny crop, but you can make these boxes in Illustrator any size you want. So this is a 2-box layout. I could do the same thing now. I could go in here, and let's delete this big box. Let's go back here. Edit. Clear. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. There we go. So let's delete the big box, and let's make 4 of these. Want to get them straight, so let's just make a box here for alignment's sake. Make this a different color so you guys have a clue what I'm doing here. So we're going to line these up. Close enough. Could be a little higher. So we're going to split the difference. There we go, pretty close. Now we're going to do the same thing. Click on all these boxes. Click on the background. We're going to hit mask. Turn clip off. Invert. I must have missed one. Try this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not sure why it's not doing them. Try this one. One. Technical difficulties. I should have tried the 4-box before I went live. Mask. Yeah, it's not making it transparent, and I'm not sure why. So anyway, once you figure this out, that's how you make these boxes. You just have to be able to make transparency. If I open this other one here and we delete this, delete this, delete this. If you're just going to make a box transparent and add another shape on top of it, and it's not a photograph, then use the select tool, highlight that one, highlight the background, and then you're going to use this Pathfinder tool, and you're going to hit this minus, and it makes a transparent hole. So again, Adobe Illustrator is just one tool and how to make these SuperSource backgrounds. And again, you got to play with it and make them transparent, and then export them as PNG files. Bring those into your media player, and having your media player open to media player, you have all of these slots available to you, and you can just take one. You can see, you can't see the transparency when it's here. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't show up when you have it in the media player, but it truly is transparent. I can prove that right now. If I was to, let's see, let's drag this in over here instead. For the background, you can see my SuperSource messed up. Let's go back to me and a logo. And then if I bring media player 2, what did I do here? Let's drag it back in there. Bring media player 2, me on the air. Let's go into a key here. Let's do, I'll just do my logo, my upstream key. So let's drag this over top of me right now. You can see that's the box when it's laid on top of a regular picture. And all I did was include it in the same place I slide my logo in. And if I slide my logo back in, then it just becomes my logo again on the screen. Drag the right logo in. So now it's just a logo. So again, that has the transparency. And if you want to do a foreground image, you need to do that. Now, background images, they're simple. If I want to put the Batcave behind me in SuperSource, now I could just bring SuperSource on the air, and there I have the Batcave behind me, and I can zoom these boxes in and out. Box 1, I can zoom off the screen. I can zoom size in and out. And I can do the same thing with box 2 because this image is in the background. You can also put a video in the background. So let me put a video in the background right now. Let me show you how I'm doing this. I'm going to go up here to SuperSource. I'm going to go into the background art. I'm going to change it to my hyperdeck, which is in input number 7. And now I have a moving background in the back. And if I turn the boxes off, box 2 off, you can see it more. If I turn box 1 off, you can see it continuing to move in the background. So I can use a video in the background for SuperSource. And again, I can turn all the boxes on now with this in the background. So I can go into box 3, turn it on the air now. There's box 3, size it down. I can bring my DVEs on the air right now if I wanted to. That's a DVE right there. So I could have it on the air. I can have that DVE on the air as well. So let's go into box 4 and turn the mask off. And that's my desktop. And that's another DVE right there. So I have 2 DVEs on there side by side, right? Those 2 right there are DVEs. I'll turn them off again. DVE 1. So I can have those boxes on the air, including borders. I can turn the borders on and off of those. Try that again. Turn the borders on and off of those. The blue border on that one I can turn off, turn on. I can make those borders larger, outer width size. So that's the DVEs. I can't do boxes around SuperSource, so we'll turn those 2 DVEs off, and I'll turn the 4th box on in SuperSource. Now we got box 4. I'm going to change that to, let's do color 2, and we'll size that down and put it above me. So I have 4 boxes on the air, and I can still bring in my DVEs. So I could have 6 boxes on the air if I wanted to, size them whatever I want, and I could put that foreground image in the front now. And it won't work, but we'll show you what it looks like now. Put that in the foreground. And again, my DVEs are on top of it, but all the SuperSource boxes are behind it. So put it back in the background and change it back to my normal background, or I could have the Batcave in the background, and I will turn my my background from my hyperdeck back to my media player. So there's the Batcave in the background. It just looks very eclectic. So let's change that back to that. And if I put my new stencil I made in the foreground, it's going to block a bunch of things. So we'll go back to the regular SuperSource background. We'll turn the DVEs off. You can see I'm doing it up here. DV1 off, DV2 off. we'll start shutting these boxes, SuperSource boxes off, box 4 off, box 3 off, and we'll increase the size of 2 again. There we go. So that's my normal layout with the background in the back. Our new background in the back, now it's going to come into the foreground, and then I'd have to resize those layers, box 2 to fit it better, and box 1, size it, place it, size it to fit it better, depending on how much crop I want. So there you go, with my logo on the bottom. And I can turn my key off the air, so I have no keys on the air. And I have a logo because I added it to the foreground image. And so that's how you design a foreground image in Illustrator. And that's how you can put images in the foreground or the background. And that's how you can even go to your hyperdeck and use it as a background image. Right now it's over top of me, which is because I have fill and key on. And again, so I can do some tricks like this and have this over top of SuperSource because it's in the foreground, and now I'll put it in the background. So now it's behind me, now it's in front of me, and because I have the transparency on, it will be in the front of me or in the background of me. And again, that's if you designed a background image with a fill and key, then you can play around with those settings. So I've not done SuperSource in a long time with an animated background. This is probably not what I'd normally use, but there you go. That's how you design a SuperSource background, move it into the foreground, make transparencies, and then you have to align the boxes behind it. So you could bring a guest on the air, 4 guests on the air, design a 4-box layout, put it in the foreground, have everybody's names, design another one for 2 people, bigger boxes with their names on the bottom, and then you could just design a macro to switch between a 2-box SuperSource layout and a new foreground image in your media player. Go to a 4-box image with a foreground with 4 transparencies with 4 names on it, create a macro to lay it on the screen. And again, with macros or with a Stream Deck using other tools, then you could make those changes really quickly while you're in your live stream. So that's a lot. So the last thing I wanted to do, and then we'll talk in the chat, is that I did send my Rodecaster Pro back. I do have my new Rodecaster Pro on my desk. So there's a 2-year warranty on Rodecaster Pro version 2. And so because my pads were not working correctly, my smart pads, I sent it into California, I had to pay for the postage. So I think I spent $75 the first time I bought a box and padding and sent it off. I sent my second Rodecaster Pro 2 away this week. It should arrive on Thursday. And if they send me a brand new one back again, it has a full 2-year warranty. So I'm going to have both Rodecaster Pro 2s repaired now. The first one, they sent me a brand new one, so I unboxed it and set it up in my studio and then sent the other one I was using back. If they send me another new one, I'm going to unbox it live in my live stream just for the fun of it, show you what all comes with it again, or you can go on my channel and look at one of my older videos where I unboxed my original one. So I'll finally have 2 Rodecaster Pro 2s that are working correctly. I don't know what their issue is. I'm sharing that because I wanted you to know if you have a Rodecaster Pro 2 and you bought it in the last 2 years and you have a receipt, if you register it and you reach out to Rodecaster Pro, you can send it back to California if you're in the United States. There's other places that you can send it if you're in other countries. They will fix it or replace it under warranty. You have to pay postage there, but they'll send it back to you, postage paid. So it's going to cost you a little bit to package it up and send it. But if you have issues with your smart pads firing randomly, or you push one button and another pad fires, that's what was happening with both of my Rodecaster Pros. That's not an issue now that they sent me a brand new one, and I have a 2-year warranty starting now. They went into my registration account, put in the new model number, and extended my warranty out 2 years, my purchase date, and they're going to do the same thing if they decide they need to send me a brand new one to fix the last one I sent. So 2 new Rodecaster Pro 2s. I have a new Elgato Keylight Air to unbox. I have a new battery to unbox, and all of that in the live streams coming up. I hope you enjoyed this look at SuperSource and how to do a foreground and a background image. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys have had a lot of fun. But before we go, let's just see what's going on in the chat here. And hopefully you guys will respond to my poll. It's 57% yes now. So that must mean it's 43% no. So you have a favorite camera mount. 57% of you say yes, and 43% of you say no. So if you haven't filled out that, please do. Somehow if I full screen this, let me pop this back in. Let me go through the chat here. Okay. Thanks on the Eyestein lights. You're welcome, Joe. Can you show After Effects like a basic animation? I never used it. A basic animation, I'll come back to that. Let's just see how much time we have. David, Tony Cam, laugh out loud. Yeah, I named it after Tony because he loves that shot. Tony Cam, explanation. Everybody needs a Tony Cam. Tony on a live stream sometime soon. Can you explain your external hard drive structure? I see many connected in your file explorer. Do some backup assets. So I have some 13 megabyte drives. I don't have a NAS, whatever you want to call it. I have some 13 and 10 spinning drives. I have a ton of these that I use for each one of my clients. And then if I'm working on a project for my clients, I back this up on one of those hard drives, and then I store it on this. So if this dies, we're out of luck. So I have lots of these. I have this one, which is for my ATEMs when I'm mobile. This one is for a church I'm working with as an every month client. I have another one that I have for my Extreme, which is full. There's lots of ISO files on here. And I have hard drives in my PC. I have backup drives in my PC. I also have spinning drives. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 spinning drives here next to my desk. I guess I can give you a mobile cam real quick, Joe. Got to put this on the air here. Coming into channel 4. So I have these hard drive. What happened here? I have these spinning hard drives right here. I have my PC that has drives in it. I have all of these drives in my drawer. I have one plugged in right there. This is 4 terabyte. I have one right here, which is another client drive. That's my wife's podcast one I'm working on right now. You can see I have Extreme ISO 1, Extreme ISO 2, and I have this one. So I have a drive for one of these and one of these for going mobile. And then there's my new Rodecaster Pro 2, and these pads work great. So still tuning the microphones because I had it all tuned and I didn't save the settings. So that's the best explanation I could make of my backup system. I do want to get a NOS. I just haven't done it yet. Actually, Keith, you should bring both Joe and me on a live stream sometime soon. Yeah, I want to do that, Tony. I'm not as high tech as you guys are. I don't have a Mac. I can't use the ISO system that you have. Plus, I don't have an account to use that Zoom ISO. So I would have to bring you guys in as Zoom guests and then make a layout for all three of us, which would be fun. I can do that in Zoom. And smaller boxes shouldn't look that bad. So maybe we'll do that. Got to sort out the audio. But I think Tony would do much better on his own. He has a wealth of knowledge. Okay, well, both of you on my live stream would be great unless you don't want to come on. Better team effort. I tend to dominate the conversation. Lots of hard drives. That is correct. Yeah, I have a streaming bridge, but I've never opened up for port forwarding. So I kind of know how to do it on my app now. I probably have to have you, Joe, walk me through it, or Tony. I do have my my app. I'll bring that on the air here. Close my mobile cam. I can find my app. I'll flash this real quick and then back off the air again. What am I in? Camera 4. So there's my app open. I've got my Wi-Fi routers up there, and I have my wired sneak peek and all of them in the studio. I need to add more of the wall mount ones. So I can go into this app and set up port forwarding. What port forwarding is, I have to open up access for signals to come into my streaming bridge from outside of here. And then I can create a file, send that to Joe or to Tony, XML file. They can go into their device and stream directly from their Blackmagic device to my streaming bridge. And if they have audio going into it, I'll get audio in the studio synced up with their lips. And then we would have to back channel through headphones to talk in Zoom until I bring them on the air. And then I would put my headphones on so I could hear what you guys are hearing, because I don't have any speakers on in the studio. And that makes having guests a little complicated. The easiest thing for me to do would be put in my wireless earbuds. But I probably would, just like I had Adam on the show, Adam Tao, I used my headphones and I brought him in Zoom, and then I just put him in a box on my desktop and brought him into the live stream, and we could talk back and forth like we're in the same room, which was a blast. So I would come on. It's not that. Just would like to watch your interview with Tony. Okay. Yeah, I enjoy interviewing. You would bring both of us in. You could bring both of us in with StreamYard. I've never played with StreamYard, but I hear you can do that. It's just like Zoom coming through my PC, right? Yeah, the port forward would be good. Yeah, I can't get you in without port forwarding. And Tony says it's easy. Yeah, it's just access. I can turn it on and off. I just haven't set it up because, again, that's not my expertise. So I've been a little reluctant. I'm sure I could learn like everything else I learn, but there's enough to learn in my studio as things sit right now. So, okay, well, that's all I have. We have covered all the different type of tripods that I could bring in here, including my favorite all-time tripod, which is my Gitzo carbon fiber. I can throw in my suitcase. I've done this on cruises. I've taken this on vacations. It can go on the plane with me. So I just put my camera in my on-body bag and then my tripod, and my filters go inside my suitcase, and I can get to go to the red rocks and take some incredible photographs. Perfect for places around the world. Does add a little bit of weight to my kit. Again, thank you guys so much. If you do go and see the links later here, I'm going to build some links today and tomorrow for all of these devices that I had on the live stream tonight. Amazon associate links. If you use them, the channel gets some support. You pay the same, but we get some support. I also have super chat enabled, so anytime you want to do a super chat, you can. Thank you for those of you that have done them in the past. All of that supports the channel, and then I can get more gear. Like I got a $47 Amazon certificate a couple days ago, so I'll be adding something else to my studio. So again, that comes from people on my channel using those affiliate associate links. Again, so keep that in mind. All of those links, there'll be a disclaimer in the notes later tonight and tomorrow. So you can use those and support the channel. So you can even use the link and then shop, and whatever you buy will still support my channel up to, I think, 30 minutes. So I really appreciate that. Good to have you, Doug. You'll have to catch up. Thanks so much for joining me. If you want to know more about SuperSource foregrounds and backgrounds and how I design them in Adobe Illustrator, not perfectly, but I did design one. You can check that out. And I also showed a bunch of tripods and different things you can mount your camera with tonight. After Effects. Be there in just a second. JG Hill Studios, good to have you. I use StreamYards weekly. Really easy to use. Hello from North Carolina. It's good to have you here. I'll have to check out StreamYard. Let me know if that costs anything to use the basic version. Tony's also, yeah. There they go. You guys can be now fast friends. Someday I'll get down there to see Joe, or over there to see Joe and Hank and the rest of those. I thought I saw Hank here earlier, but I haven't heard anything from Hank. But he did say he was going to be delayed, and I think he checked in here. So Hank, if you're still in the live stream tonight, just another shout out to you. Yeah, do you have a YouTube channel? JG Hill Studio, we're wondering. And what is your real name? I stream to Two Stands Fishing Channel. So you guys can go check that out. Two Stands Fishing Channel. Go subscribe. Learn how to fish. It's good to have you here tonight. Tony has a channel. Joe has a channel. It's not named Tech for Fun. Let's see. Doug Force has a Force Online. Doug has a great channel. Tony has a channel. Let's see who else is in here tonight. Hank does not. Craig, I think you have live streaming happening. Chio Walker, let us all know if you guys have a channel. Give me a shout out. And if you have not filled out the poll, do you have a favorite camera mount? Yes or no? Please answer the poll tonight. We have 57 yeses. That gives us 43 no's. I would love to hear from everybody tonight before we go. Okay, let's see what I can do for Sir Joe here. There's nothing fast. Thought I had an icon down here. What are we waiting for? After Effects to open up. I'm not a really high-tech, big After Effects user. I've done some pretty complicated things. My wife's intro video is an After Effects project, but So my C drive is almost full right now, FYI, so I may not be able to even use this. But it's similar to Adobe Premiere, but what After Effects does is it has tons of animation effects. So you can take fonts and you can animate things. You can slow things down and speed them up. You can make them in dimensions. You can decide where your cameras are going to be placed, and you can think three-dimensional. It's similar to doing 3D design, except for it's all about animations, like my Stinger video, which I will play for you right now. I don't have a macro, but I'll play my Stinger video for you right now. I'm going to loop this. So that was designed in After Effects. I even designed a stinger for Tony in After Effects at one point, just for fun. And I got a cool little gift in the mail after that. So I really don't want to go totally into this because I haven't even used it in months. And I have to refresh myself every time, Joe. But we'll just play with a couple things here real quick. Let's open up my browser here. And let's just bring in a background. So I can put the background on the timeline. So I loaded the background. I've now dropped it on the timeline. And then down here, you have this little icon. And if you click on this downward arrow, here's the transforming effects. So I can open up all these anchors and I can slide forward. And then I'm going to scale this sucker down. I'm going to rotate it after I pull it to the side and up. Here's the rotation. So we'll rotate this on that axis to right there. I'll go down even further. And now we'll add a font in here. Going to take the font and open the boxes down here on the left and transform, turn all these anchors on. I will scale it up. I will rotate it in from nowhere. Then let's bring our background back into the screen. So it's very tedious work, but that's just a basic example. So I can make these things fly and animate, and you can see it's rendering. The green line is slowly rendering it as I play with it every frame. And so you can also go in here, and right here you have a list of effects. Let's see if I can make those any bigger. I can't. Let's make the screen bigger. Can't do that. Anyway, so across the top here, I can do, up here, I can go into enable motion blur. So now when things move, there can be motion blur. So I'll turn it on right here. Right there, right there. So now as these things move, it creates motion blur. And again, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. The depth of After Effects and what you can do. So what I did is that I created those bars across the screen one at a time. So I had to have them come from the top down to the bottom, and I had to make all of those adjustments to get them to slide across the screen correctly and animate all of those, have transparency behind them so that I could put on a key and have my stinger go across the screen and then back again, and I could hide camera transitions, all of that using this incredible tool called After Effects. So lots of depth, lots more things that you can do in here than you can do in Adobe Premiere. So you can build your fonts and your animations in Adobe After Effects, and then you can bring those into Adobe Premiere after they've been rendered. It's just a great tool. You can do backgrounds, you can do colors, you can do 3D fonts that roll through the sky. Again, you just have to go through and start creating all of those devices. You can add shadows. You can have things increase and move cameras around the screen and move in 3 dimensions. But that's really getting into complicated things with all of these tools. And again, just watch some videos. There's a really cool guy called Dope Motions, and he has lots of tutorials. I would recommend, Joe, you go check that out. Let me see if I can find the video that popped up today from him. So when he does a new video, I get alerts. Let me see if I can find him in my list here. There he is. So he released this today. It's called Dope Motions, and I'm going to click share, copy. Let's find the chat here real quick. Somewhere behind all of these crazy windows. Okay, where did it go? There it is. Let me delete the tracking information here. Okay, there's a link to his channel. And if you think this effect is cool, this demo is how to do that effect. And this is a guy that I go to learn from. So he's going to do a walkthrough of how to do that and that effect on his channel. So go check out Dope Motions, and hopefully that will help you out. So yes, I got my prompter and enjoying it. Good to see you, Hank. I will start streaming very soon. Thank you for that update, JG Hill. It's difficult to change the sound on a Stinger. Yeah. Stinger sound is very horror movie. How do you change that? I like it. I'm going to leave it. I think After Effects has created, or Adobe is starting to add some AI tools. I haven't played with them yet, but there's been some alerts. You're welcome. So if you want to learn After Effects, you can actually subscribe to the Adobe package. If you have 2 different credit cards, I have learned that if you go to unsubscribe, they'll offer you the whole package for $35, I think it is, or $39.99. It's normally $59 a month. So get yourself 2 business credit cards, or your personal card and your business card, and then go to close your account every year. They're going to ask you why. You can just say it's too expensive, and then I think they will offer you $39 for a year. And if you do that every year, lots of people are saving money that way. It's very expensive, but you get all their software. I have Photoshop, Lightroom, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Audition, Adobe Premiere. I have After Effects. I have all of their software. There's even apps for your phone. So I love it. You can get DaVinci Resolve for free, but you can't do the things that you can do with After Effects and other things, tools available by Adobe. I use Lightroom all the time to bring and ingest photographs and organize them, and then do color correcting on photographs. Anytime I do a photo shoot, I use Adobe Illustrator, I use Photoshop, I use Lightroom, I use all of that stuff. So keep that in mind. All those tools come together, and they have the software called Adobe Audition, which is great for releasing podcasts, adjusting audio. They have spent thousands of dollars on effects you used to have to pay $400 to have in your tool bag, and now they're included inside Adobe Audition. So there's lots of tools available inside Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe After Effects, and Adobe Audition, and all of that they've integrated and purchased. Like Rodecaster Pro bought Aphex, and now Rode and Mackie are one company. Rode bought Mackie. So you never know what's going to be available in the future in future Rodecaster Pros, as well as future editions and updates of Adobe Premiere. And if you have the monthly subscription, you get all the updates for all of their software. So keep that in mind. Did you miss a super chat? Yeah, I probably did. There it is. Thank you for that. Let me put that on the air. No question other than Fro for more effects. So thank you for that $2 super chat there. I appreciate it very much. Joe from Tech for Fun. Thank you. I'll go up here. I don't think I missed any other ones, but I did miss that one. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. I've been with you the whole night. Good. Thank you, Hank, for that update. Hank, did you ever get your prompter figured out? He answered that. Why use Illustrator to create foreground graphics? Photoshop would work as well. Just curious. Oh, that's a great question. I'll put that back on, because I just know Illustrator. I use it all the time better. But Photoshop is a great tool as well. I have a little bit of trauma from changing from Corel Draw to Illustrator, which is kind of, I used to do PageMaker, and it got purchased by Adobe, and then now it's Adobe Illustrator only. And then Corel Draw, I did all of my graphic design when I was younger, and I just never really got into Photoshop, even though I've played with it. I've had copies of Photoshop for years, but I don't know. I just like to do layout designs. It's the graphic designer in me. But if you're really into high-tech graphics, Photoshop is a way better tool. There's a lot better layer functions in that, but you do have layer functions in Illustrator now. So there's a lot of similarities, but there's a lot of differences as well, just like a lot of software. So that's my reason, mainly my post-traumatic stress. Okay, Think I read about that history class. Okay, I'm gonna go, guys. It is late. I need to jump in the car and go with my wife on a little trip here in 5 minutes. So I need to say goodnight. We'll do some unboxing in the future. We'll open up that Elgato Keylight Air and check out its 14 ANS lumens of brightness and add it to my other 3 Elgato lights in my studio, my 2 key lights and my Keylight Mini, and we'll just see how we can integrate things in the studio so that I can change the any camera and change the lighting in here. That light that I'm going to put up here is going to be a hair light when I'm facing this way. I have the hair light back here when I'm facing that way. And this one, I have a mini light to be a hair light when I'm facing this way. So I'll have lights from every angle and quick buttons to change it. And we'll play with that in next week's live stream, as well as Camera 3. The Tony Cam will be back up and ready to go, as well as I will have a couple weeks a video here on the channel where we talk about the solar panel by Go Power and the little mini battery again, and it's called the DuraCube. So we'll talk more about that. So we'll see you soon. Tony remembers PageMaker. I loved it. I still have lots of things I designed from PageMaker. Thumbs up to you too as well. JG Hill, thank you for joining us in the live stream. You guys are awesome. I appreciate having you. That's it for me tonight. I'm going to roll. So until the next live stream or the next video unboxing on my channel, my name is Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios, and I'll see you on the other side very soon.